Hi everybody, this is Boogus Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Ultimate Pee Wee Herman figure. So before we take a look at Pee Wee, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up you get Terry the Pterodactyl, and Neca did a very awesome job at sculpting him. Surprisingly, for being such a small figure, he gets some really awesome texturing all over him. That looks really good. I think the paint is also pretty solid too. There's not a whole lot of paint detail to him, but I think what little is on there is really good. And due to the way his tail is sculpted, he can actually stand up perfectly well on his own. So I think that is very awesome. Terry is also surprisingly articulated. So he has a ball-jointed head that can look up all the way. He can look down just a little bit. He can move his head side to side and all the way around. He does have a jaw that opens very slightly. It moves up and down very slightly, and he has hinged shoulders. So you can move the wings out like that and spin them all the way around. So for being such a tiny accessory, Neca did a very awesome job at sculpting and painting it, and giving it articulation. Up next he comes with a set of open hands. Up next he comes with this alternate right open hand. Up next he comes with the secret word cards and alternate hands to hold them, and even though they're just regular paper, he can hold them very well. The grip on them is really tight, so I'm pretty happy about that. Previous Neca figures that come with these little papers, they aren't thick enough, or the hands don't grip it well enough to actually hold it. But with Pee Wee, he can actually hold them very well. You can see it says Neca and Ultimate on it, and I think that's a really nice touch. The back of these are blank, so if you want to write something on the back of them, something else, you can. I do kind of wish we would have gotten some more of these cards. I feel like since they're just paper, they could have thrown a few more in, but still fun accessories nonetheless. Up next, he comes with these wider gripping accessory holding hands, and they really can't hold anything that he comes with. You can kind of get him holding one paper if you kind of wedge it into both of his fingers there. But yeah, he doesn't hold it the greatest in these hands. Up next, you get his smirking head sculpt, and I think this is a very, very good likeness of Paul Rubens. I don't think that the promo pictures necessarily did this figure justice, because now that I have it in hand, I think it is a really good likeness of him. The hair is sculpted very well, the edges are painted really good. You get a bit of rosiness printed there on his cheeks. That just looks really good. The only flaw, which I don't know if the camera's picking up, is his skin is really, really textured, because I think the head is cast in a black plastic and the skin tone is painted over top of it. So you can see here on the cheeks it's textured because the paint got a little clumpy. But other than that, I think this head sculpt is really good, and now that I have it in hand, it looks a lot like him. Up next you get the wide smiling head sculpt, which again looks really good. You can see he's sticking his tongue out on this one. I think it really looks like him, but the biggest flaw in this head sculpt is the eyebrows. For some reason they decided to paint on individual strands instead of his complete eyebrows, and I think that takes away from the likeness. Like, I think the sculpt is perfect, I think the sculpt is there, it's just the eyebrows make it look really funny, because if you compare this head sculpt to this one, you can see that the eyebrows are painted on entirely different. So I wish they would have been more solid like this instead of just painted on lines. I'm definitely going to go and repaint this and fill in those lines right there. That way it'll look a little better. And finally he comes with this open mouth head sculpt. And again, I think it looks a lot like Paul Rubens. I don't think the promo pictures did this figure justice, because now that I have it in hand, the sculpt is really, really solid, and I think it looks just like him. I feel like the eyebrows on 2 out of 3 of the head sculpts could have been a little bit better, but that's really a small complaint. Other than that, I think the head sculpts look really good, and Neca did a really good job at capturing his likeness. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the figure. So taking a look at the rest of the figure, he has some amazing sculpt detail that I didn't realize that he had. This pattern in his suit is actually sculpted on. It's got some textures to it, and the pattern is sculpted on. And that looks really good. I honestly thought from the promo pictures this was just going to be printed on. But yeah, his suit has sculpt detail all over it, and that looks really good. Neca did a very awesome job on that. Of course, you get his iconic bow tie right there, looking really good. Some more of that incredible texturing and sculpted pattern there on the back. You get a little bit of sculpted wrinkles. I feel like the buttons could have been painted on just a little bit neater. You can see where some of the edge of this middle one didn't get painted on. This one's pretty good for the most part. I feel like these two are just a little bit sloppy because you can see some of the base color of the light gray showing through right there. And then you get his shiny white shoes. You also get some texturing right here for his socks. They even sculpted that on there. I feel like the line on the soles on the right side gets a little wavy. You can see where the black didn't get painted on all the way. But that's really a small complaint. And now that I have this in hand, he has so much more sculpt detail to him than I thought he would. They just really went all out with the sculpt on this, and I love that. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball jointed head that can look up just about all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side and all the way around. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. He has single jointed elbows that can bend in a very nice amount. It's a deep cut joint, so he can bend in that far. On the left side, mine feels pretty fragile. This right side has some pretty fluid movement, but the left side feels kind of stuck. I might need to heat that up just a little bit. He has swivel wrists that can move side to side and up and down. He has a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back very slightly. Surprisingly, he can crunch forward a decent amount. Despite having this suit overlay over top of the joint right there, he actually has some decent articulation. The waist can also move side to side and all the way around very nicely. He can't quite do a complete split. You might split this piece right here because it is rubber, so I wouldn't recommend moving his hips out more than that. He can kick forward very far. He can kick back just a little bit. He has an excellent thigh swivel. Single jointed knees that can move back that far and move side to side. Swivel up here in the shin. You can hear it makes a little bit of noise when you move it. Ankles that can move all the way down, all the way up, and a nice ankle rocker. So even the articulation on this figure surprised me. Neca did a very awesome job on that. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to E.T. Here he is next to Alf. Here he is next to the smaller scale Gizmo that came with the Santa Gremlin. Here he is next to Bert and Ernie. And finally, here he is next to the McFarlane Rob Zombie figure, because in a very weird connection, Rob Zombie was actually a production assistant on Pee-wee's Playhouse. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because Neca did a phenomenal job on this. I knew I'd probably like it once I bought it, but now that I have it in hand, it is such a fun figure. And the sculpt on it is crazy. Neca really went all out on this figure, and I love that. It is just a very fun figure. The only real complaint that I had with it is the paint on the eyebrows is a little bit funny. But overall, that's a really small nitpick when the rest of the figure is really awesome and really fun. So yeah, definitely don't miss out on this. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.